Hey there, and welcome back to By His Grace Marriage Ministry Podcast. My name is Amanda. Shalom, and I pray that all of you are doing well today. So, I wanted to reach out, and this is actually very different from what I've ever done on my podcast ministry. The focal point of my podcast ministry, of course, has been to minister and share the words of marriage and family that the Ruach has given me or has taught me through scripture and so on and so forth, and just to help those out there that need help with their current relationship or marriage, or that are trusting in Yah for their Yah ordained marriage, and just to help get prepared and just to give you those wonderful words of wisdom that He has given me as well to prepare. So that has been the focal point of my ministry. Every now and then, as a new season would start, I would do like a quick announcement if there were any changes to the podcast ministry or anything like that, and that's really it. Everything else has been, just words of wisdom and just things to minister to all of you. Today's episode is different, and it probably won't be the length of what a regular episode has been, which has been anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. But I just wanted to come on and share a few things and be a little transparent with my followers and those of you who are just a part of this podcast ministry and have been following and listening to it. So, I am a very private person. I am not one to utilize social media or go on any kind of platforms to discuss anything going on in my personal life or my family. I've even done episodes about this where I've talked about, just being careful about what you talk about and what you share with other people or on social media platforms. But today has been different for me. I have just been having the strong sense and urge to just reach out to those around me and just ask for prayer. It's just been a challenging season, and throughout this challenging season, I've been really focused on, the things of Elohim, my ministry, my family, and just any other way that He may want me to serve, and just read His word every day, pray, fellowship with those who are, doing the same, and just, keeping my eyes on Him. And it's been a challenging season, though, even though I've been focused on Him and just, trying to do the things He's called me to do. So long story short, I've been requesting prayer, and if any of you are on my Facebook, you'll see it there today too. And again, I'm not normally transparent about this. And just last week too, I came on and requested prayer for my son, who was not feeling well, and I ended up having to take him to the hospital, and I actually requested prayer. I normally don't do this, though. I'm normally very, very quiet and to myself when it comes to things that have to do with my personal life or my family or anything like that. But I wanted to come on and even share this today because I just felt led. I felt like the Ruach was saying, just share it everywhere you can, so that those that truly have the ears to hear and have the heart to do it can join you in prayer. So long story short, I reside in Colorado. Colorado is a beautiful state. Colorado is home for me. I grew up out here. I wasn't born here, but I grew up out here. And I've learned to love this state. It has a lot of beauty to it, and it's just very familiar to me. Even though I've moved a lot in my life, I've lived in a lot of different places, but Colorado definitely is home for me because it's where I've been the longest. I actually was living in different places. I was outside of Colorado for 10 years. And in 2017, Yahuwah led me back to Colorado. So I ended up moving to Colorado in September 2017, and I've been here since. But I want to tell you that in the past about 2 years, I've just had this desire in my heart to move. For a couple of reasons. I don't like the direction that the state of Colorado is moving in. They're extremely expensive. They're rapidly growing. It's very congested here. I am somebody that likes to live in small towns. I like to be in, rural areas where there's not a lot going on. I don't like to be in like big cities. I can appreciate big cities, but I don't like being in them very much. I like more slow pace than I do fast pace. And I really just felt Abba like placing in my heart over the past few years to just live simply, maybe try to homestead or live off grid, just kind of going back to basics. And you can't really do that when you live in the city in an apartment. You really can't. And while I've been so thankful to Him every day for the roof that's over our heads, for the beautiful area that we live in, because we do live in a very beautiful area. And every day I never get tired of looking at the beautiful mountains and things like that. But I really have just been feeling my heart, wanting to leave, from here. But, there's been a few reasons why that just hasn't happened, and I've prayed about it, and no doors have opened yet. But as more time goes on, as we have gone into this year, it's getting harder and harder to make a living here. It's getting harder to live here. I know that we have inflation everywhere, but Colorado especially. And I knew this too before I moved back here. Before I moved here in 2017, I was living in Missouri. I actually really loved it there. And, I knew that coming back to Colorado, I knew it was more expensive than Missouri. And I just was like, well, but if this is Abba's will, then, He'll make a way. And He has. I've been out here since 2017. And it's been quite the journey. And I can see why He brought me out here. He brought me out here for a few reasons. But it is just getting extremely expensive. And I'm just like, I don't see how we're going to get through this. I really don't. I just, some of the things that they're asking, it's just, the Babylonian systems, and I keep praying for Abba to show me the next step, to reveal to us what's the next step, where He's leading us next. Because one of the biggest things for me is that the number one thing for me is I want to be obedient to His will and His plans for my life. I want to be obedient to His Torah, to His word. And I don't want to do anything in my own strength. I don't want to do anything in my own timing or because I think it's logical. I want it to be because that's what He has for me and the future, the future of my family and all of that. And I've been thinking about this a lot today, and I just thought, what if the next step is that I need to leave Colorado, even though that is what I've really wanted to do all along. But I'm like, what if that's the next step, So I'm coming on because I'm requesting prayer from my followers. For those of you who are listening, and if you feel led in your hearts and in your spirit to please lift me up in prayer. Just pray that Yahuwah reveals His next steps, that He reveals the direction that I'm supposed to take. And also with this ministry too, because I'm seeing some things take place where I may have to put this ministry on hold for a little bit and focus on some other things right now. I think there's some seasons coming up where I may not be able to put my whole attention to this ministry. So right now I'm really just kind of crying out to the Father for guidance, for direction, to reveal the next steps and what needs to be done. And I know one of the hardest things about being a believer and following Him is that sometimes what He does and how He does things doesn't always make sense, and that's why I say we can't do anything out of our own logic, our own mindset, and our own flesh, because, it doesn't align with the Father, it doesn't always align with what it is that He's doing. And sometimes we're in seasons of silence where we feel like we don't hear Yahuwah. We feel like He's not answering our prayers. And then we're just like, okay, now what? Sometimes He has us in a season of waiting. And sometimes it's a test of our faith. He wants to really see if we're trusting Him with what's going to happen next, and that's an extremely hard thing to do. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's easy. It's not. It's extremely hard. It's extremely, extremely hard. And this is why, in a way, too, brothers and sisters, this is why in my marriage words that I've ministered, in my episodes that I've shared, this is why it's so important that you're in prayer and you read the scripture and that you're in alignment. Because if you're not, it's not only just going to affect you, it's going to affect the people that are connected to you. It's going to delay the plans. It's going to close doors that need to be open and open doors that need to be closed. This is what happens when we're out of alignment or we're in a counterfeit lifestyle. It affects a lot of things. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about what's going on in my personal life and family and things like that. But what I can share is I definitely feel like Yahuwah is using this time to show me this, because this is what a lot of people are going through because of the simple fact that they're disobedient to what he's telling them to do. And I talked about this in a recent episode where I said, when we are not obedient to what he's telling us to do, it doesn't just affect us. It affects everything and everybody around us, even the people that aren't even in our lives yet. So, like, for example, there could be a brother, right, who's single. He's not in his marriage yet, if he's called to marriage. And he's sitting there wondering what is he supposed to do with his life. And Yahuwah's been telling him, but he's not taking those steps, either out of fear, confusion. I just did a post last night on my Facebook. It was directed towards brothers, towards men, where I said, men, don't sleep on it. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate and, put things off to the side because of your current situation, or because of fear, or because of confusion, or because of bondages and strongholds, or because of, what man is telling you, what friends or family are telling you. You've got to shake all of that off. You've got to rebuke it, renounce it, and you've got to go to the Father and ask him to reveal to you what you're supposed to be doing. Because if not, like I said, it doesn't just affect you. It affects everything around you and the people connected to you and the people that aren't even in your life yet. So like with that brother that I'm using for an example, he's holding off his marriage. He's holding off things that Yahuwah wants to do through him, his wife, their children, where they need to go, maybe where they need to live, and then the wife that Yahuwah has chosen for him is over where she's at, delayed as well, because this man doesn't want to do what he needs to do. He's crying out to the Father, but he's not listening to the Father. So that's just an example, and it can be the other way around. But a lot of times this is what happens when we're disobedient. This is what happens when we're not paying attention. This is what happens when we have one foot in with the world and one foot in with him. It creates these kind of issues and delays and blockages and just things like that, and it's extremely difficult. I'm in prayer on a daily basis, and sometimes it's an instruction that he gives us. Sometimes we need to help somebody. Sometimes we need to pray for them. And not focus so much on ourselves, because sometimes it's because of that other person or that circumstance that's why you're where you're at. So for me right now, I'm kind of in a season where I'm like, okay, I'm not really seeing any more growth here. I'm not really seeing things change, and I'm wondering if it's time to move. And I thought about, well, what if I move somewhere else within Colorado? There are a couple of towns that are around where I am right now that are a little more affordable, not by much, but they're a little more affordable. And I've prayed about it and no doors have opened. There's been no answer to that prayer. So I said, okay, well then maybe it's having to move out of the state of Colorado, and moving out of state is never an easy thing. I've done it all my life. And as many times as I've done it, it's never gotten easier. It's a big transition. It really is. You feel like you're starting your life over, and it can be really challenging at times. But I came on here today to mainly request prayer If you feel led by the Ruach, by the Holy Spirit, to please lift us up in prayer, just pray that the Father would reveal his next steps. Is moving out of Colorado what needs to happen? Is there something that needs to change? Just what are the next steps? And just pray that I stay on the narrow path, that I don't look to man or anything else, that I really focus on what he's telling me to do in this season, because it's really important. So I know that I am supposed to have a series coming up about remarriage and blending families. So I was praying a lot about this yesterday, as I said when I did the introduction, that I was going to pray about it because it's a difficult topic. I was looking over the book, and I feel that at this time he wants me to hold off on this for right now. So I am not going to be doing the remarriage and blending family series as of now. I am waiting to see what he wants me to do with the ministry, or if he wants me to talk about something different. For right now, I'm not sure. I will tell you though, and I've been absolutely amazed, and let me grab my phone so I can share this with you all. So Abba led me to start this podcast ministry. I think it was towards the end of October. I think the first episode I ever did was October 22nd, I think. But I just wanted to share this with you all, and I wanted to thank you all for your support. And I pray that that it has been a blessing to all of you and a source of encouragement. So in total, since I started this podcast ministry at the end of October, so we'll be in March 1st tomorrow, I have had 411 plays total for all the episodes that I've published. And I believe the total of episodes that I've published today, I think, are about 76, I think, maybe close to 80. And I'm just so thankful to Abba Yahuwah for that. I really, really just enjoyed doing this ministry. It's been an absolute blessing to be able to share with all of you what he has taught me and shared with me. And I may do more words. It just really depends on what he brings to me. But it's been an absolute blessing to be a part of this journey. And, I don't know if this podcast ministry will continue to be in my future or not. I just don't know if that's the direction that he's taken me in right now. So it's a lot going on in this season, a lot of changes, a lot of things just up in the air right now. And so I just ask that you all would just please pray for me if you feel led. I would really, really appreciate it. It's been a bit of a rough season. I'm not going to lie. There have been some days and nights where there have been tears. Then there have been some days where it's just been absolutely joyful and full of blessings. But there's a lot up in the air right now. There's a lot where I'm literally waiting for Yahuwah to say, go or stop or go this way or go that way. So really just waiting to see what's going to happen with that. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with all of you. I won't be doing the series for now. I don't know if I will be releasing any more words yet. I don't know if I just need to solely focus on my relationship with Yahuwah and my family, or if I will be releasing more words. We'll see. But if y'all could just pray that he reveals the next steps moving forward with the ministry and just with life in general, that would be wonderful. So again, a big thank you from my heart to all of you for supporting this ministry. I pray that it's been a blessing to you and has been a source of hope and encouragement for you. There are plenty of episodes to listen to for now, so please, if you haven't heard some or most, I encourage you on your free time to go back and listen, and I pray they bless you. So that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk with you in a next episode. Shalom.